2021 sculptures, all of those were selected for 2020 because they couldn't travel across the country and we couldn't get groups together to do the work. We just selected a few sculptures in the region to add to the 2019 sculptures and carry those over for 2020. So many of those 2020 artists are now coming for SculptureWalk 2021. That's 48 sculptures. And of those, 11 are new sculptors from around the country, all very talented. We're so fortunate to have such world-class sculptors coming to Sioux Falls for SculptureWalk. We have developed a pretty good reputation around the country for a very successful, high-quality sculpture program. And we've had 903 sculptures go through SculptureWalk. 215 of those have been sold. For SculptureWalk 2020, we had 142 entries. 9 artists came back from a little break from SculptureWalk, so we're really happy to see that. And so we continue to grow and improve and attract new artists, and that's a goal that we have to have every year, to continue to re-energize the program from year to year. And I'm convinced this is our best year ever.
My name is Ben Hammond. I'm from American Fork, Utah, and my piece is Son of Odin. It's a sculpture of Thor Odinson. I always loved Thor, and I don't know, it's part of my Swedish heritage, I guess, to like that Scandinavian mythology. Also, all the years driving out here, seeing all the farms through South Dakota. I grew up in a small farming community in southeast Idaho. And when so much depends on the weather to make or break your year, I can definitely empathize with those Scandinavians with their short growing season and praying to the god of thunder to drive out the frost giants each year so they could do their spring planting. So this is sort of a symbolic victory statue, like a Florentine victory statue, kind of Thor conquering the frost giants. And it was also inspired, obviously, by some of the Marvel movies are kind of cool. I really liked Thor Ragnarok. I thought that was a pretty awesome, had some awesome visualization that helped kind of fuel the idea for this piece as well. All I can really do is hope that people appreciate the quality and the time and effort I put into doing a good job, making good composition, good artistic design, and good understanding of the human figure and anatomy, and even with 3 figures that are kind of made up alien race, you know, still using some comparative anatomy and things like that to create what I created.
My name is Kimber Fiebiger. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. The title of the piece is It's a Delicate Job. It's made out of bronze. It's a piece about climate change and war. It's kind of how foolish human beings can be with Mother Earth. That's all I was trying to visualize. I was taking a bath and the idea just came to me, and I was very grateful. I didn't ask for it. So started making the piece, and it took 9 months, and here he is, and I think it has something to say about the times we're living in.
When we started SculptureWalk, we had several goals. One was to add more artistic beauty, culture to downtown Sioux Falls, to improve the economy in downtown and again throughout Sioux Falls, and to attract people to come down to Sioux Falls, which is good for all of the local merchants. So I think we've accomplished those goals because we paid attention to all of them, and we really focused on, when we did our marketing, we wanted to reach outside of Sioux Falls, at least regionally, and promote Sioux Falls with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, of course, to promote the city because we have so many wonderful things going on here. I mean, it's a wonderful city to live in, to work in, to raise our families in, but also we have a lot of great events for people. You know, it's a very cultural city now. Years ago, we didn't have a lot of culture, but now we do. And the arts really enliven a city, give it energy. I've read studies studies that have been done by universities and by counties and states and by foundations, that the arts attract people to the community, attract businesses to the community, and then also gives people that live here a higher quality of life and makes them want to stay here. And now all of that's part of economic development.
My name is Jason Richter, and I'm from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and the piece I contributed this year is called Fresh Take. Fresh Take is just kind of inspired by just the idea that there's multiple ways to view art, and depending on who you are, your background, where you're from, there's always something for everybody, and you just got to find the right angle that appeases you. As an engineer, I really enjoy the construction and the technical aspect of doing artwork like this, but what's really unique about it is the two angles that you get to see two different types of artwork. From the front, you kind of see a more urban graffiti style artwork, and then from the back, if you come from up behind, there's light projecting forward, you see a little bit of a Mona Lisa showing through. So there's just two different styles. That's a little bit for everybody. I hope it just makes the whole downtown experience more beautiful for everybody that walks by, and just kind of just inspires other artists to do the same thing.
My name is Christine Petrosi Hirschberger. We're from Kansas. My piece is Mr. Bojangles. He's my interpretation of who Mr. Bojangles is. Jerry Jeff Walker wrote the song, and it's really not known who he is. Some people have their thoughts, but it really isn't known who he is. So this is my interpretation of a very happy Cajun guy who is dancing. I hope people just look at him and smile when they go by.
The Pavilion is now taking over the management services of SculptureWalk in Sioux Falls here, and so we're going to continue to report to their board of directors. We're just really excited about this. We've been kind of attaching ourselves with SculptureWalk for a couple of years now, and just a lot of our passions and our mission just align so well together, and so this is something that we've been looking forward to for a very long time. It didn't really start to take shape until a few months ago when Jim announced that he was ready to retire. But we just knew all along that we wanted to be involved, whether that was just volunteering or just supporting it, having the visitor center in the Pavilion's actual physical building. But we just knew for the last 3 to 5 years that we wanted to be part of this, and so we're absolutely thrilled to get to be as big of a part as we're going to be, and we're excited to follow the leadership of the current board of SculptureWalk as well.
Well, I'm Doc Weedman, and my piece is called The Cabbage King, and I am from extreme northeastern Indiana, and my piece is a traditional mallet and gouge carving. So it is made out of one large walnut log with a second one used for its hat, and it's from Alice in Wonderland. So Tweedledee and Tweedledum tell Alice a poem, and it's rather morbid, and it's called The Walrus and the Carpenter. And the two characters entice all of these oysters from the beach to come up and follow them in a parade. And when they get far enough away from the beach, they turn and eat all the oysters, and that's the end of the poem. So, kind of more, morbid, but I hope you'll like it. There's probably, I shudder to say, because I don't have to live off of what I make doing these. But there's probably close to 300 hours into it, and it's again mallet and gouge, so the traditional bang 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 with a wooden mallet, and it's a walnut log that started out to be probably close to 3/4 ton. My stuff is very folk arty on purpose, and I want them to come out of the theater and see it and smile, and if they start chuckling or laughing, that's awesome. Tip of the hat from the Walrus to everyone at Sioux Falls. This has just been a wonderful experience, and I appreciate Jim and all of the people that have helped volunteer to put this together.
Travis Sorensen, Sturgis, South Dakota. Maximus Moose is the name of the sculpture. I love the boldness, the liveliness of a moose. Kind of don't mess with me, but I'll leave you alone type attitude, I guess. It's all made out of stainless steel. It's a recycled security gate is what all this material is. And then the copper's a recycled pipe, like 2 and 3 and 4 inch pipe. I annealed it and cut it open and flattened it out. And just kind of try to recycle everything I can, I guess. There's about 12 to 1,300 hours in it. I would guess probably around 600 pounds. There is a hidden object inside of it too that we always kind of do in our larger sculptures that it's kind of fun to watch people try to find it, so it's kind of neat, without giving it away, I guess. So,
The Washington Pavilion down here on Main Street, Main Avenue in Sioux Falls, houses the SculptureWalk Visitor Center, and so the whole idea behind this, it was created about 2 or 3 years ago. The whole idea was that we would create a start and a finish to your SculptureWalk journey, and it all begins right there at the Pavilion. And so there's a nice little visitor center. It's indoor, and there's a video playing about the history of SculptureWalk, which includes some testimonials from artists and from board members, people who really care about this program. And so you can sit there for 3-5 minutes, learn about the program, grab a brochure, see where the walk is going to take you, see some photos of previous People's Choice Award winners, and then go and see the other 61 sculptures. We'll have brochures down here downtown, and in the brochure there'll be a ballot that you can fill out. And so as you do SculptureWalk, you enjoy the 62 sculptures that are downtown, and you can pick your favorite. And by the end of the year, we'll know who the People's Choice winner is, and they'll be awarded that. But that's kind of how you can participate. It is available all year, all day long, and so I would just encourage you to come out and do that. If you are a sculptor and artist, there's also a call for art later in the summer, and so you can also participate in that way. Or if you're a business or just philanthropic, you can lease or sponsor a sculpture of your own.
My name's Jade Windell. I'm from Loveland, Colorado. My piece is called Wonder. It's carved out of Colorado marble. Colorado marble weighs about 170 pounds a cubic foot, so it's a big piece. And it's kind of almost a modern day totem, a protector. And the statement is kind of, I had the thoughts of, I saw this guy sitting at McDonald's with his hand on his face, head kind of cocked over, and it kind of inspired me to wonder what he was thinking about and how many positions a hand on a face, how many things it could say about a person's state of mind. So that was kind of the inspiration behind it. It's kind of funny being an abstract artist. The part I enjoy the most is kind of sitting in the background and listening. I kind of hate naming the sculptures, but being in the background and listening to kids talk or adults talk, and they kind of pick out different images and different thoughts of the piece. You know, they kind of interpret themselves, which I find fun. I've heard some pretty crazy things over the years, but that's what it's kind of about. You know, it's about for you to decide. If I hear a song and you hear the same song, we both feel different about that song. And that's kind of how I feel about my sculpture. Is everyone sees something a little different.
My name is Steve Bormus. I'm from Sioux Falls, and my piece is called Blast Off. It's a conglomeration of found objects, pieces that I found probably over the last 3 or 4 years in South Dakota and Nebraska and Iowa. I kind of wanted to make a rocket for several years here. I love to drill holes in things for some reason, and like this one, the main body on top is the engine cover for an old Beechcraft airplane. The bottom pieces are corn snouts from a combine, a farmer's combine in South Dakota. And then the very top piece is a red lens that came off of a B-52 bomber. So I'm just constantly looking. I have all this hanging out in my studio, and I try to piece these things together as I go along. I like to appeal to people who, you know, maybe Mama brought him down here because she likes art and he doesn't. And then as soon as they see my piece, these found object pieces from around here, I like to see big burly guys that aren't into art. I like to see them take over and explain all about my piece and tell their wife what it is. She just smiles and realizes he's going to end up liking SculptureWalk a whole lot.
My name's Ken Newman. I'm from Cambridge, Idaho. This piece, the last whistle, goes back to the honoring the blue-collar workers of America, and it represents a point in time when is it the end of the day? Is it the end of his career, or really is it the end of the industry? As our travels around America, we've seen the impact of the loss of blue-collar labor, and it's pretty amazing. And one of the other things we've seen is that they're nowhere honoring such a critical element of our community and our society. They were responsible for building a community. So it was simply a way for me to honor these. They had played an important role, and when I became an artist, it became very important for me to honor these individuals that are responsible for what we see around us today. So please come and enjoy.
SculptureWalk is a big, huge effort, and there's so many pieces and players involved, whether it's artists, sponsors, the businesses of Sioux Falls, the community of Sioux Falls, and so there's a lot to learn. And we've had the fortune of following Jim for the last 2 months throughout the installation season downtown and in other locations. We are also attaching ourselves with Jim for the next month or so, just to make sure that we're transferring over all these relationships and all the data and all the nitty-gritty details, so that we're not going to miss a beat along the way. I'm sure there will be some bumps and hurdles along the way, but we're just excited to be learning from him. He has a wealth of knowledge from 18 years, and he created this program. He's the founder, and so it's big shoes to fill, but he's been so gracious to us to share everything he has, and it's very obvious to all of us that he is so invested in the future of SculptureWalk, even though he is ready to take a break.
I'm Harold Link from Lake Oswego, Oregon, and my piece is called Mountain Spell. The concept of the piece is absorbing energy from the world around you, and that's what I've tried to capture with the backward gesture, with the smoothness, and actually with a sculpture that kind of isn't there. If I've done it right, the sculpture is in another place, in another world, absorbing the energy from this world. So that's what I had in mind there. The material is carbon fiber, so it's very, very tough. The process is kind of involving 3D printers and a number of coats of epoxy and carbon fiber and automotive finish. A piece like this will take approximately 4 weeks to complete. But usually I do like 2 at the same time, so it'll be a little bit longer, but the process moves through steps, and so it's good to have the steps together with a couple of pieces.
Everyone should come down and enjoy SculptureWalk. This is such an amazing program. The mission is literally art for the people, and it's all rooted in bringing art to you. And so it really does enhance our downtown. It enhances the quality of life for all of us, but also for the artists. And so this is really just a wonderful program that's rooted in serving the community.
Looning, Sioux Falls and Richmond Lake.
And Sherry Treby, Sioux Falls and Richmond Lake.
We call this Sunrise Serenade. It's our larger-than-life Rhode Island Red on Rhode Island Red Junior, which is called a cockerel. This is about the beauty of the sunrise, a new day, new dawning. We have the rooster, but we have the usurper to the throne, the youngster who eventually gets to take over as lord of the barnyard when dad ends up in the soup pot. So that's the fun part of this. And this is our Shinto grate. You get to ring it, and it's mellowed out, and it resonates for a long time. So Sherry's the one that started all this.
Yeah, we took a trip to Japan, and at every corner there is a gate like this, and people bow in front of it. I thought that was pretty cool and spiritual. So it's a spiritual thing and about renewal. You know, there's a new dawn coming and a new day and a new start.
Sherry was the inspiration for We Can Do It, which is the iconic World War II poster of Rosie the Riveter.
I just want to say thank you to Jim. I can't imagine how difficult it is to leave behind your 18-year-old child, and he's just been so great. And so our whole team at the Pavilion is so grateful for him, and I think I also want to just say I couldn't do this without the team at the Pavilion. So there's about 10 to 15 of us that are going to be taking care of SculptureWalk throughout the years ahead, and so it's really going to be all of them who's going to make it shine, including the volunteers and the artists. And so just want to say thank you.
It's been a great journey for me. Made a lot of friends with the artists and sponsors, and we've had a lot of wonderful support from the community with our sponsors, donors, board of directors, volunteers, the overall city. It's just been a fantastic experience for me, and I'll miss it. But it's time for new leadership, and Brandon Hansen will be the new director, and he has a wonderful team behind him that will continue the success and sustainability of SculptureWalk far into the future.